All right, so on to the next question. Oh, these are such good ones here. What are some of the most effective ways to recruit Gen Z? Denise, great question. I get this a lot. In fact, I do a lot of in-person trainings. I've got a great course that I'm going to tell you about here on Justice Clearinghouse that you can get to help with that. It just So the most effective ways, it depends on the person. It depends on the profession. There's a lot of things that go into this. Um, in that course, I give you a bunch of ideas, and hopefully you get some things. Not everything's going to work for everyone. So gleaning those good things that come out of that class that you can potentially use to see if they work. But I'm going to talk about a few here. Some of the ones that I've seen and have been told that make the biggest impact. So you have something to go away with from this little webinar. So first of all, application speed's the key. 60% of Gen Z says the job application should take less than 15 minutes to fill out. So I often ask people, like, how long's your application? And law enforcement, I'm looking at you. You your profession is notorious, and my organization, because I came from law enforcement, same thing, right? Our application, if you printed it out, was 26 pages long, and that takes a lot longer than 15 minutes. Now, do you need that personal history questionnaire and the answers to it? Yes, you do, because you got to do the background and to make sure that you're getting good people in the organization. But it doesn't have to be right away. So one of the things that I highly suggest is coming up with this employment interest form. It's not an application per se. It's just saying, hey, I'm interested in coming to work with you. Because what they're doing is they're reaching out their hand to say, I want a relationship with you. I want to see what you're like. So on this employment interest form, name, email, phone number. That's all you have to ask, because that's all you need to start a relationship with them, because you can start calling, you can start texting with them, you know their name, right? And then you can start to guide them through the application process, especially if it's a long one, right? And explaining why they need to fill out the personal history questionnaire, explain why they need to take a polygraph test, all of those things. And you can encourage them as you go through and help build them up. So one of the things that we would do is, in my old organization here in Wichita, is that we had something similar to this that we would send out. We actually had it on Facebook at the time, and we would get a lot of interest. I mean, a lot. We would get like 2 or 3 a day, and of people just reaching out and saying, hey, I'm interested in having a conversation with you. So we would do job fairs specifically in our detention facility. And what we would do is when people would fill one of these out, we would actually assign a recruiter, and it didn't have to be a full-time recruiter. In fact, I even participated in this and spent time texting the people who fill this little form out. So come up with these applicant coaches and these mentors, right? Assign these recruiters or whoever they are to the applicant, follow, encourage them along each step, and then set up notification from the hiring team. So like if someone has a written test to do, and it's going to be on Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right? At Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm texting that person going, hey, don't forget, you've got this test today. It's 1 o'clock. This is the location, and making sure that there's like a prompt or a push for them if they've forgotten it, or if they don't feel like anybody cares, or it's just another thing they have to do today. It prompts them to remember it and then to go take the test. Okay? And you can also encourage it, like, when you get done, let me know how you did, right? So it creates this interaction and this relationship with a person, right? And the beautiful part about this is that if the person ends up getting hired, they have a built-in mentor already who they know cares about them, because they've been caring about them all the way through the application process. So here's we had job fairs for our detention facility, and one of the things that we would do when we got these employment interest forms submissions in, is we would assign them to a person, and in this case, Victoria, who's an applicant, was assigned to me. So this is the conversation that I had back and forth with her, right? Hey, this is Colonel Dietzman, just a reminder for the jail tour tonight. We can't wait to meet you, 141 West Elm, 5:30. Let me know if you have any questions. And she texts back, Ola, I'll be there, specific attire. Now, this is important because if had not reached out to her, this was a question that she had. And if she doesn't have like dress clothes, or she didn't want to get dressed up, or whatever the case may be, right? That could have been a hurdle for her just to come to the tour. So by me being able to answer this before she actually came. So I said, no shorts, jeans are fine. Perfect. She's like, great, thanks. See you then. May not have happened had I not reached out. And then a couple days later, good day, I have submitted my application. And I was like, this is awesome. Don't forget to get signed up for the test. And then she goes, I go in on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Excellent. Let me know how it goes. Then she texts back, right? 90% on a written test. Agility test is scheduled this day and this time, which I put in my calendar, right? And she started that questionnaire packet. 90%, you're a rock star. Okay, that's a 50-year-old trying to sound cool, by the way. And then I'm like, I'm so excited to get you on board. And she's like, thanks, I'm pretty excited also, right? So see how that relationship really helped get her through this process. So we actually get her in as an actual applicant and potentially that employee. So Chris, you got something to add here, my friend?
I just, you made me, as you talked about this, you made me think of a couple of things. And again, this is me having never been a cop, never carried a gun or carried a badge. And there's all kinds of reasons why both those things are true. But it kind of strikes me from what I've heard from a number of our speakers. It used to be that a lot of families were in the profession.
Mhm.
If Uncle Joe was a cop or
Right.
dad was a detective, it was not uncommon to see a second, third, fourth generation come up through the ranks and go into the profession. Maybe different parts of the profession, but still, they kind of knew the business they were getting into.
Yes,
And so,
yes.
is my interpretation of this that there may have been a lot of this coaching going on during the application process
Great point.
informally inside the family, around the dinner table or at Thanksgiving, giving asides or side comments or hey, don't forget. It seems like a lot of this may be a product of the fact that a lot of this coaching used to take informally and take place inside a family unit, whereas now we as an organization, a formal structure, can't count on that kind of coaching anymore. Am I interpreting this right?
That's a great point. You know what? And I love talking about this in front of really smart people like you because you come up with really good points right like that, right? That it was. I mean, if somebody was frustrated about having to do something during an application process, if dad or mom was the cop or whatever it was, whatever profession, they could answer that question. And continuously push, like, when's your physical agility test, when's your written test, when's your polygraph, and they would push them because they wanted to see their kids get into that profession. So that is a great point. And we just don't have that as much anymore because, well, specifically in law enforcement, I mean, a lot of family members don't want other family members getting into law enforcement anymore. So having that mentor outside of the family, yeah, that's a good fill in at that point. So excellent point.
Next
Excellent.
question.
Next question. Sounds great. Oh, I do want to
Mm.
listen, Chris, you might want to jump in on this too, because you
Yeah.
are the marketing guru on here. But I really want to caution people about this of engaging people, don't
Yeah.
market to these younger folks because everybody's got a help wanted sign. You're hiring, congratulations. So what? Everyone
Everybody
else is
is.
as well right now. But we need to, instead of saying help wanted, help wanted, help wanted, we need to say, this is a profession, and it can be whatever profession we're in, because we're all helping professions, and that's listening to this webinar, right? We're all helping professions. What is it within our profession, within our organization, that we can provide you the ability to live your purpose, your meaning in life? Like I was reading the other day, it was something like 97% of Gen Zers want to fulfill, at least in part, their purpose through their work. They don't come to work for a paycheck anymore. They don't have to. They can go anywhere for a paycheck, right? We really have to engage people and show by example of what our current employees are doing, how they are fulfilling their purpose and meaning in life. So when people see that, they look at it and go, I want to do that too, because I can fulfill my purpose, my meaning in life the same way. So engage with people, don't market to people.
No, you're absolutely right. And this is both a good thing and an evolution, as you so often talk with Maslow's hierarchy of needs and such. This is an evolution that we've just naturally as a society gone through, but also we as Gen X have kind of instilled in our own kids that notion that 40 hours a week is an awfully long time to hate what you do. And so find what you love, find what you enjoy, find something that fulfills you. And by the way, that you can get a paycheck for at the same time is kind of like the golden ticket, if you will, of finding that purpose and getting paid to do your purpose. But that also means that they're picky.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't necessarily see how starting down here at this grunt job can give them a stepping stone up to the next rung, or get them in the direction of where they want to go. You talked about purpose. I would be remiss, and in terms of how to reach out to that younger generation, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, folks, if you are struggling with attracting and recruiting the right people, go make friends with your local universities, go make friends with your local professors, with your local teachers, get to know the schools, get to know the universities in your area. There is somebody in their program. There's absolutely somebody in the program. And especially if you approach it from the perspective of, look, I'm a cop. I'm here to talk about being a police officer for XYZ police department. But if you leave it open to be able to say, but we have lots of kinds of jobs. You don't have to just be a cop. We need IT people. We need victim services people. We need animal control people. There's all kinds of people that the criminal justice system needs. You're just the door. And they may go down all kinds of different hallways after that.
Yeah.
But you got to be willing to go out and reach out to those schools and reach out to those universities. Start building those internship programs. Start creating those work study programs, start doing those ride-alongs, or anything you can do to make the program interesting.
Yep.
And the career interesting as well. I'll let it back to you. Next question, Brenda.